Greetings, everyone. I am AuroRa. I am the founder of A.U.R.A Hypnosis Healing, as well as the author to Galactic History of the Universe, which you can find under Amazon, under ebook or paper. It is a past life regression telling the universe's history journey through internationally through many different clients that I've had. We are over 400 sessions, which we recently made in the last about 3.5 years. And I offer sessions for A.U.R.A Hypnosis Past Life Regression, which is an entity removal modality, as well as raw Reiki sessions and Akashic, Galactic Akashic readings through my website, which you can find more information upon in my risingphoenixaurora.com, as well as my Patreon, where I teach courses. And we also teach these certifications, which are sovereign modalities that are absolutely beautifully powerful, that help you teach you how to remove yourself from the inverted matrix, how to remove these infringements that you may find in your energy bodies or your physical bodies, as we're really seeing that, as you've seen through this transmission. And yes, you can find more information under my Patreon website as well for that. I am now on Rumble, which I'm working on that, but please subscribe to Rumble. So you can find me in 3 locations, Rumble, Vimeo, as well as YouTube. Love to see you there. And then you can also join our Telegram, our MeWe, as well as our Facebook pages and groups. Love to see you there as well. Let's begin. Okay. Such a powerful topic that needs to be spoken of in this time and space. Thank you all for being here, who are here. We did it through Zoom. So in case you want to join us through Zoom and be part of this live, you want to do that you can find those Zooms through any of my social media again. So thank you. Thank you for all of you who are here and joining in chat. So if you haven't written your questions in the posts that we have created, you can write them now and place them in the chat under Zoom so that we can answer those. We have many good questions. We won't be taking live questions like we do on Patreon. We will just be taking questions on chat because we want to move this very fast so we can get as much done as spoken today, because there is much to share. Thank you. Now, this is, you can say, a continuance of all the videos that we have on our YouTube channel, over 350 videos, right? And also specifically a continuance to the roundtable that we did with our beautiful brethren, Laura Eisenhower, Magenta Pixie, Myra Sis, and then Marissa Ocachella, as well as Todd Divini. So if you haven't watched that, I would suggest for you to watch it, just because it would watch it first. It will help you understand what we're about to speak, because otherwise you're going to kind of be going into it like halfway. So stop this video and go back and watch it. Okay, you can find it again in my platforms. Wonderful. This is a very strong topic. Since you're joining us in this beautiful, intimate type of format, I mean, it helps if you light a candle, the energies, because it is such a strong subject. Or if you're in the sun, you can pull in from the sun as well, right? Now, the first thing that I wanted to go into is when we spoke with that roundtable, we spoke of what's going on with, and throughout time, you all have been asking me these questions, and we've been able to give what we've been able to share in that time and space, because you all have been concerned about the babies, what's going on, the mothers that are nursing, the mothers who are trying to conceive or have conceived during this time. And, we're going almost, unfortunately, on 2 years since this pandemic began. 111, send love to the earth. Okay. And we are, when we started speaking about this, we explained how this COVID vaccine, this COVID virus was introduced, and it was supposed to be like a bioengineer, and it was supposed to, as we know, wipe out such a vast amount of people on Earth. But as we saw that it didn't really happen, they were, falsifying results and so on. So when that happened, they truly began to bring it into society and the world specifically through the 2019 fall winter flu virus. That's when it began, and it began to morph. And once it's a virus, so once you infect one, like the Archon virus. Those of you who didn't watch our recent A.U.R.A hypnosis, you definitely want to go back and watch that, because it is exponential in understanding the AI and the archons that we're about to talk about. So you could watch that on my platforms, and it's called AI Archon Universe. So important session. Okay. So that's when it began. So let's go into that. So then, as we understand, it began to go into the human vessel. So I don't want to go too much into that, because you could watch all our videos about that. What I want to talk about now is transhumanism, because we've been talking about how that all worked through our various videos. Okay, so really want to focus on things. When we share videos, we want to focus on things that we have yet to talk about. So if you're really coming new to us, you're gonna want to go back and watch videos. Okay, just go in order. All right, so we talked about how this virus, and ultimately the goal through this virus is they thought that it was going to wipe out, right? But it didn't quite work out. But the next plan for their diabolical plan was this bioweapon, truly, vaccine, the jab vaccine. This is planned. As we know, Bill Gates talked about it when he was talked about it during, I believe, his presidency. Yes, Donald Trump's presidency, that or before, I'm not sure, but there is a video where he talks about how Trump is going to see the biggest pandemic. How would he know that? Because they had already had it in the works. So we're going to put some things together for you there. Okay. So what's going on here is that, let me see, lots of energies. Okay. They were testing these, unfortunately. Now, you might have heard some of the beginning tendencies that they have, which are, directly linked to human trafficking and child trafficking. Some of these glimpses that began, in the Nazi war, where they took these beautiful Jewish race and started injecting them with these things. So different times and spaces where they began this. And just about, if you actually look back and you look, did you all know that about every 100 years, they come up with a new pandemic, a new one? All these different influenzas, these different things that they mask people, and then they start, jabbing them with supposedly a vaccine. But these are all different levels. So it happens just about every 100 years. You'll be amazed if you look that up. So there's a significance to that for sure, because you could say, in a sense, there's a reset in human biology and human DNA that reset just about every 100 years. So they're trying to infringe upon that and compromise that and stop that. So these were being tested in locations that, they're hidden in locations, underground military bases, or locations even in their specific skyscrapers or tall buildings, hidden locations in maybe deep wooded forests, where they are we're taking some of these humans and children underground. And one of the places that we know are the islands of Epstein. They had children there, as we know, and it was said that there were children with solid black eyes. That's what we want to go into first. Solid black eyes. Okay. What they were doing was they were like cattle, like cows, and they were breeding them abusing them sexually, as we already know, the children that would, get bigger, or the younger adults that they would human traffic and take and put them into these, so horrible to talk about, but these scientific labs, in some form, you can say archonic labs, and they were testing out already. How can we transform? How could we infringe upon the human race? And that's why when they rescued some of these children, their eyes were solid black, because they had already done this. They had already injected it to the young adults that they were, raping, and then these young adults had children that had eyes like these. Okay, so all these, that we're talking about it in many different platforms right now. We're on a strong momentum that we need to keep talking about it and talking about it through alternative media. Media's like, there's so many different channels that you could tune into that will explain this. Okay, there's doctors, there's lawyers, there's such a benevolence of speaking up right now. Okay, now one of the first videos that I want to show you here, and I'll show you briefly, and then I'll explain it to you, as I was only able to speak of it briefly through the roundtable. So now we're going to go into it. Okay, so let's see. Share this. So this is a video here on BitChute, and let's make this large for you. And it's showing here a video of a child with solid black eyes. Now, we talked about it in the roundtable. What's going on is that you see how this child barely blinks. Okay, it's like, whoa, where am I? What's going on? And it's observing and it's scanning everything around it. So I've been shown dreams that now, say for example, a lot of times your friends and family. Okay, in this dream that I was shown, that I was shared. So I was in this auditorium. You all ever been in like kind of like an auditorium, like watching a movie? That's basically you're sitting in the simulation. Okay. And all the people that I knew, friends and family, had basically taken the vaccine. A lot of you who are here and who I talk to have taken the vaccine, right? Majority of them. There might be one or two or a few of you that haven't taken it. Okay. Now, as these people were sitting there, they had babies on their laps, and they had babies with black eyes. As they were also, now that this next part here, they're showing how this baby is just literally newborn and it's trying to crawl. As we know, babies don't crawl till they're, 6, 7 or higher months. This baby is showing an abnormality of being able to do that. Okay, so they were sitting, so friends and families were sitting with black-eyed babies. Okay, so they're also, the minute that they come out, look, they're walking. This child is 2 months old, and they're having a mobility of walking. We know that that's not normal. Those of us who've had our babies before the pandemic, we know that they can't do these things at 4 months. They need like a boppy to hold them up sitting. They're very developed, in other words, in intelligence, and their muscles are very advanced as well. So it really depends also on how soon the mother who birthed the child. So I'm going to let you see this, and then I'll finish telling you the dream. So look at this baby's trying to crawl. Okay, we're going to stop it now. Okay. So these are babies basically that have been born from parents who had the vaccine. Okay. So now going into them. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing the transhumanism itself. That's what you're seeing in these children. So going back to the dream, okay? So they were sitting there, all these people, rows and rows, and they're hiding. They were like hiding. So they look like, say, the friends and family that we might have known, but they were not. Their eyes too were solid black. And it's an artificial kind of black. It's not like an organic black like you're seeing into the astral. It's a emptiness, soullessness, to clarify. And the children as well were sitting there with black eyes. So it's a creepy dream for sure. But it's an understanding for you all to understand what it's like right now. You can say. Now, with what's going on is that we explained prior is that grays, we've been trying to explain how, this future ET race, the grays specifically, are this abomination of organic and also artificial, but more artificial. They're this future timelines that humans turn into. So this is what they've, so that's why they have the black eyes, because they're the gray. So it's the beginning of this. It's the beginning of it. However, there's much help. So we're not just going to talk about this, this artificial. We're going to talk about the positives as well. Okay. Which is really sad. So what they're doing is that when they were sitting and they're masking, they're hiding who they really are, but they're not them anymore. You guys understand? They're not them anymore. That's why they're feeling off to us and soulless. Okay. So let's see what else. Okay. Then from there, there's a couple things I want to make sure I don't miss anything here. So there are the way that they make grays in a realm, the archons, but they still make them here. So they reproduce them. It's similar like the Matrix movie where there's like these sacks of inverted and like a mother womb, but it's the opposite of that. It's an inverted, artificial, energetic. It's not even energy. It's just this goo, I guess we can call it. And then they grow them like that. Once the gray comes out, it's fully walking. Say out of its artificial womb, it's fully walking. So this is why we're seeing this advancement in the children. That's why they're fully walking. That's why they're, doing these things that are abnormal. So these parents also are compromised because they have the vaccine. So they think, oh, look at my child. They're able to hold up their head the minute they came out. As we know, they're not able to do that for weeks to hold up their head, but they're just holding their head up. Okay, these videos that I'm sharing, you could actually, and images, you can find them under my social media, so you can check them out there. Okay, so we understand that. It's interesting what is occurring now in this world, because for so long, those of you, I receive emails, comments, right? And you all are sharing, oh, I've seen that. Oh, I was shown that. It's interesting how these things are finally being seen in the physical. Okay, but it's taken us a long time to be here. So let me explain to what I just said. Okay, so now I'm going to share some images with you, and you can watch this. You can actually find these videos under the Steve Peters show under Rumble. Okay. And we have different doctors on there that are going and are talking. So one of the doctors that recently talked was when she put the vaccine, and there's different forms, as we know, of vaccines, but when she put it on there, this AI thing started. So they keep them cold. The reason why they keep them cold is because the liquid that they have them in is invisible, right? And then once it starts turning into heat temperature, the minute they start heat, So as well as it goes into the body. When you leave it out into, say, room temperature, the things start coming out. Okay, so that's what's going on. So this thing here started. Make sure you're muted, everyone. So this thing started coming out of. She put just one drop of this vaccine into under a microscope, and this many other things that I'll show you started coming out, but this one is relative to what we've been speaking of on our platforms and our galactic soul history of the universe. It actually goes into what these things are, and it started coming out and just kind of growing out, manifesting out. And you notice that it doesn't have head, because it's not a real spider. It's an artificial intelligence. It's artificial spider type of thing. And it has these tentacle legs. This is the actual AI Archon virus that we've been talking about. This is it. This is what you're looking at. Okay. So any of these vaccines, it doesn't matter which one they are at this point. It doesn't matter which ones they are, because we're under the Biden presidency. Okay. So we're in this inverted timeline, but operating in our organic timeline of us who are awakened, who are standing in our sovereignty, right? So we're holding with the 2/3 rule split. Again, I have a series for that. Go watch that. With the 2/3 rule split, where we're working in the organic and the artificial, both of those worlds kind of joining together, but not. They're walking side by side next to each other, parallel. Now, what we're seeing is that we're seeing the inverted, okay? Finally. And the reason why we're seeing the inverted, finally, us as organic beings who are seeing clearly, sovereignly, and really anyone could watch this, right? Why we're seeing this physically is because the collective light of Earth has shifted. Even though we have all these people, for example, in my example of the dream, and all this friends and families vaccinated with black eyes, one of us can truly hold, our love light can hold 2,000 of them, depending on how strong you're holding your love light. Okay. So because of this potence of collective love light, one of us to 1,000 of them, it's bringing, you could say it's manifesting the inverted physically. So we can finally see these infringements, what we've been talking about, archons, AI, nano, we can see it now in our world. You understand? So we're seeing the inverted physical here, because we're the collective light, to be able to see it manifest finally. So all this time we've been seeing it perhaps through our third eye only, energetically, we've been sensing it, feeling it. Now we're seeing it in physical form. There's your physical form of the Archon virus. So what this thing does is it multiplies, first of all. It's not just one. Once it goes into the physical body, human body, because of the heat inside of it, it starts multiplying and it spreads through the entire body. Okay, and at that point, they become an Archon compromised virus. This is what we've been talking about. We've been talking about that this was an Archon virus. This is what we're talking about. Okay, that's what it is. So then it starts taking over the vessel, and it starts spreading. And then it actually then takes over the soul at that point. That's what pulls that out, because once that starts spreading and multiplying throughout the body, and it's what, can also, it goes into the brain as well. We've been finding like these spider bots in the head and the brain. And you can also, we've talked about this in other videos, you can also get that from the shedding. If you're around these people, that those bots can actually come out through their pores, right? Through their mouth. If you're having a partner and you're having, intercourse with them, it could go through the sacral areas, the reproductive areas, and come into you, and then they would go into the brain as well. And then they go into the brain, and they start, of course, shifting consciousness, making it more AI, making it more controllable, all that we've talked about, like easier to change in emotions and so on. Okay. And then at that point, they are becoming AI. Okay. This Archon entity, which I'm going to talk about Archons further in a bit. So let's see what else I have here. So some of the other things that they're finding finally in the physical is that they're finding, here's another image of that. Another one, because this doctor also went in and she checked another one, another vial, thought maybe it was just that one. Nope, here comes another one, a second one. Okay. Then this other doctor from Africa, oh, that's not a good picture. That's okay. So hold on, I might have a good picture here. Okay, here it is. So it looks like, so when before she put, before it disperses, there's these rings. So that's nano. So what happens is that once it heats up, there's particles inside of there that are nano-based, that are metals. And that's why we're finding people that are becoming magnetic, right? Metals are attracting to them because they're literally becoming nano AI hybrids, transhumanism, androids. And what happens is once those rings that I showed, once they room temperature, they end up at some point in time, they disperse and then they become this type of liquid. This liquid is consisting of reptilian virus or reptilian consciousnesses that they took and they made them into this ooze, this black stuff. Okay. And then that would, again, they're like really like, man, when they decided to put this together, they really like, okay, let's put on some Archons, let's make them into like these grays, let's whoever consents to this and let's go their sovereignty. Let's put some reptilian ooze into them. In chapter 1 in our Galactic Soul History of the Universe, our book, they talk about how they begin to that ooze and then how they begin to do these experiments on Earth. Okay. They've been experimenting. Now, they found like, these kind of forms that look metallic. And then also, this is another slideshow. This was moving. So you could check out the video. It's moving like light, but it's not light. It's artificial light. It's empty. Okay, so good. Showed you those videos. Now, okay, so this is really rough to hear. Like, oh goodness, this is a lot. What is happening to human, and these are actual doctors. Okay, you all who are looking under microscope. I know I don't need to convince you all, but whoever listens to this, you can find those videos there where I told you. So you can see it for yourself, and then look with your heart, look with your open mind. Always be open. You should never be closed off to anything. If you're being closed-minded, you want to ask yourself, what's causing the closed-mindedness? What's causing my heart to not be able to understand that these things are happening? Because there's children dying. In one of the videos that I was watching on that show on the Rumble, there was one of the doctors talking that there was an 11-year-old little girl who the parents shared their story but didn't want to come out. They wanted to stay anonymous, but they shared that the little girl wanted to do traveling sports. She was 11, so her parents told her the only way she could travel was to get the vaccine. So they injected her. They allowed for her to get it, and then she began to get blood clots all over her body. And one of the doctors also shares through this show how the bloods, they're becoming like stacks of bloods, and they're attacking, the white cells are attacking these metals. They look like almost chips, SD cards as well in your body. Okay. And then this little, basically that's what causes the blood clots. But this little girl had blood clots. They ended up amputating her leg. When they were about to amputate the other leg, she ended up dying after 2 weeks of getting this vaccine. Okay, this is like, This is real. If you don't believe it, you're compromised. And I want to make it very clear that if you are a troll and you're going to write comments, if you're going to email negative comments, I don't consent to you. Keep your entities to yourself. But I am here for awareness and I don't consent to you. Okay. So with sharing this information, I asked last night, I'm like, how is it that we are even still here? It's happened above 50%. You could say the population of Earth is above 50% because they're also injecting children 3 months in these locations that we talked about. Everyone's being injected, like Afghanistan, as well as Africa. They're injecting these babies at 3 months, because I hear from these people. So keep yourself muted, please. Okay. Okay. All right. So we understand that. So I asked, how is this even holding up stably? How's this Earth holding up? How's this universe holding up? Because we're the anchor at this point and we're holding it heavy. Whew. So this goes back to the recent channeling where I talked about, I believe, maybe unveiling corruption, where I talked about how the universe had to go through a reset. And then, so it did go through a reset, a really dangerous reset, a rebirth. And then many people volunteer to have symptoms of if you got a jab. So, the symptoms, again, I talk about it in that video. Okay. Because they started to help transmute, create the positive energy in case these people do start seeing truth and maybe run into one of these videos, this video, whatever video that actually speaks of truth, because there's many falseness, so much falseness out there, which we'll talk more about that's pulling them back in. When they tell them, yeah, get the shot. There's so many spiritual healers, so many people, of course, the false media that are saying that you can get it. Okay. So they explained to me is that the reason why we're able to hold up is because of you and your love light, because we're in this organic world right now and we're holding that love light. It's rough. It's getting perhaps a little hard sometimes for us. Okay. But that's why you need to self-care. You need to heal yourself. You need to sit in the sun, which is source, which heals you. It can heal anything, cancer, you name it. The sun can heal it. The sun, laying in the grass, allowing for Mother Earth to pull out the negative ions from within you. You need to keep hugging trees, all these things that we've talked about. So you're holding this love light profoundly. Then they said that the rest of the consciousness, all animal life forms on Earth, including the ones in the water, have gone through a level up of energy where they're holding the highest potence of love ever on Earth, and the trees and the plants. So they said, don't forget about the trees. Yes, the humans have chosen this path, but don't forget that there's consciousness in rocks, in trees, in water, everything that is consisted of nature. There's consciousness, orbs of light, infinitely. So when you think about it and you add up even the insects, you add up all these life forms, they actually outnumber the humans that have decided to insert the jab. So that's how we're doing it. It's a beautiful collective of light. So thank you. Make sure you're thanking the plants, the trees, the animals, every life animal that you see. They're so pure and beautiful. As we talk about, they're magical creatures. Okay. Dragons, griffins, all these beauties that they are. All right. So that is how we're doing it, in case you're wondering. So continue. Don't give up. Don't give up hope. You are that warrior, that hope, that love light that is keeping the organic blueprint there. Okay. All right. Yes, there's orbs, isn't there? They're beautiful. It's probably a dragon. They're like, yeah, we're here. Okay. Now, Something that's really important is dream time. Very important for you all, because they're actually getting to these people in their dream times. Since they're not using sovereignty, shielding, force, they're not using their love light right before sundown, right before bed. They're using their negative technologies to infringe upon their consciousness when they're sleeping. Then they wipe their memory through these negative technologies, these satellites, negative towers. When they wipe their memory, we've been talking about dream time, okay, y'all? So then they wipe their memory, they don't remember, but it's a download. It's a negative download from the AI itself, the archons. Because when you go to sleep, you're giving away your sovereignty if you're not setting an intention of not consenting before bed in the deepest delta brainwave that you are, where you are the most powerful, actually, in the delta brainwave. So then they download into them, oh, today I need to get the jab. Oh yeah, this is really important. I got to get this done. That's how they're getting them profoundly. So then they go and get it because it's been downloaded into them and they think that they're doing the right thing. They're programmed, that they're saving lives. As we know, no, they're actually being part of taking lives, harming others when they become these androids. Now, I was shown a dream from a higher perspective. I was viewing this dream. And they showed me this beautiful angelic being that had awakened on Earth. And then as this being was laying in bed, he went through his life and started awakening, right? And okay. So he got to the point where he started understanding that he had the force around him. He can use his I am source, love light, to put it around him. And what was going on, what was happening is that because he was using his I am source of light, and let me explain, the I am source of light that is infinite within your heart, that you expand around you like a bubble and use sacred alchemy and colors, it's not just for protection, okay, you all, it's actually lifting and shifting your consciousness, your ascending consciousness, because you're bringing yourself to the highest possible vibration that you could possibly be in your avatar state. That's what it's doing. Okay, it's activating your abilities, it's bringing benevolent downloads, benevolent activations, it's shifting yourself in a highest possible consciousness. So if you want to shift and awaken yourself further, why are you not doing it yet if you're not doing it? Okay, so but it's almost like I was viewing a dream in a dream. Okay, so this being was viewing in, let's say in his, the easiest way I can explain is his dream. Okay, so in his dream, no, that's not right. Oh, goodness. It's hard to explain the energy of the quantum world. Okay, so I was viewing him going through these different stages. And there was also people that I was viewing as they were also sleeping through this shared, and dreams are not just make-believe, they're actually visions, explanations to what's going on energetically in the world. Okay, so remove that if you think dreams are not real. Deprogram that. That's false archonic downloads again. Now, this being was empowered, but then the rest of these beings who were not using their I am source of light, they were able to just, like I said, scan them and put that false download. And then the people who were using their I am source of light were actually becoming more deeper, further activated in their dream time. Because did you know that you're actually the most powerful in the delta brainwave? Then when you're awake, you're more powerful then. Okay. So when you're in there, you can say you're like Neo from the Matrix movie, and you're fully using your abilities because you're in the in-between. You're able to connect to your higher self, force at higher self supernatural abilities, higher self, whatever you want to call it, all these forms. Okay. So then I was shown that the people that were being compromised constantly in their sleep, and then I was shown this being. And then what was going on was that there were these like wispy, ghost-like beings, but they were angels. They're from a different realm. They're angels. They come and they try to assist humanity. So they were trying to help these people who were asleep and not using their sovereignty when they're going to sleep, but they couldn't, or even in waking stages as well, right? Because the brain neurologically is constantly thinking. It's like the movie Matrix, where they talk about how what's his name? Morpheus is talking to Neo. And then Morpheus is explaining to him that I don't remember, 21st century, 20th century, but he explained that AI took over, right? And then all the humans became, he said this, he showed a battery. That's what they became to the AI, feeding. Okay. Watch that movie maybe again. So then we're asleep in the simulation. We've talked about it at the beginning, timeline wars, red versus blue, right? We talked about these timelines. And what's going on is that they have us, we're in these inverted pods, similar like the movie. So they keep us asleep, and they're trying to keep us there. They're fighting, but we're awakening vastly. They're trying to, with all these rules and trying to stop us. Australia right now is big right now. They're holding the law of what is it? The law of. So if you watch, I'm going to post them on my social media, but what's going on in Australia is that they have them under, they can't get out of their houses. Forget what that's called, quarantine. And let me find this one. Australia, which is Archangel Uriel oversees that. It's a universal gateway law of purpose. That's right, in Australia. So it's 10, it's completion in many forms. So they're really targeting that location. And I'm seeing that they're stopping them also from social media, or they're going to try to stop them, but they can't get out of their house. If they get out of their house, they're using some kind of biotechnology, they said, to pinpoint where they're at. If they're messaging them, and if they don't reply to that message, they're going to pinpoint where they're at and see if they're not home. What? You guys understand what kind of technology they would have to do that to the Australian people? It's like they're putting these different tests in different locations where they think that they're going to spread it out throughout the world. So going back to the Matrix. Yeah. So, that's what they're using us for. So this dream that I was watching, it was like, you can say this being and other beings, because it wasn't just this one being that were using their force, were like Neos in their sleep. They were shifting timelines. They were rescuing children from human trafficking. They were energetically a benevolent being, if allowed, through a being who allows. You can say, like, angelics can, I wouldn't say, I guess you can say, jump into a body briefly if the higher self allows. And all of a sudden, this being, it's similar like when we're channeling and all of a sudden we're talking to someone that's getting, thinks that they're going to get the jab. And you're like, no, you don't want to get the jab. And all of a sudden, this benevolence of channeling, beautiful information just came out of it. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Wow, that was really beautiful. Like that, like these angelic energies can at times fuse, and this beautiful benevolence of energy will come out of us. Okay, so these benevolent and angelic beings, if this person, say they're trying to rescue children in human trafficking when they're sleeping, that's what they're trying to do. So then they're giving, basically they're allowing for angelic energies to also assist, so they can empower that being to then do it. Okay, so it happens a lot with some of these, when Trump was in presidency, they were rescuing these children. Okay. Oof, I'm getting really heated. I need to breathe. So then this being was in this dream assisting in other ones, right? In all forms that they could possibly do, because they stepped into their power and their abilities were activated. They had telekinesis, they had teleportation, they had, infinite astral travel. They had using the elements around them. They can use force with their hands, you name it, all fully activated in the dream realm. Then there were these, so what happens is that when a person is compromised with an Archon entity, if you have an Archon entity, you have the Archon virus, okay? We explained that in the recent A.U.R.A regression. So if you have an Archon virus, then you're contaminated, unfortunately, by this virus. As hard as that's to say, because you have the virus in you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to clear this Archon virus from you. So then in the dream, what they would do is that they would continue to compromise the people. And they look like these entities that people were allowing to connect to, because when they're in low vibration, people are in low vibration, maybe trauma, depression, all these things, and or they have the virus and they have the vaccine in them, all these different things. It obviously lowers their vibration. So their goal is to lower them so deeply that then, they unfortunately come to their demise. They die at some point in time whenever it's meant to be. So then they attach all these things, these implants energetically, these AI bots that you saw, these Archon virus, these technologies into them. So we've already been seeing that through the doctors, through the past. I have clients who come, they have, there was something wrong with their knee. Oh, let me take out that knee and let's put a metal knee in there. What? Why would you want to put a metal knee in there? Oh, you have problems with your PMS. Let's pull out your uterus. Okay. So now that's with the transhumanism again, replacing parts, just like Atlantis. We already know that. Okay. And the fall of Atlantis. So when the person had what they showed in the dream, when the person had this Archon virus, and it doesn't mean that people can have the Archon virus in them, whether just by having, say, an Archon attachment or sometimes an Archon nanotechnology in them, in their energy body. So ultimately, they'll keep adding things until they get them to the point where they completely compromise them. Their goal is to eat the soul. Okay, because that's what this the spider thing I showed you with no head, which it was interesting. Someone said that it looked like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. It does, creepy enough. But then initially these type of, I don't know how to explain them, but there are these. You're going to see them a lot in hospitals, but they're like these, once the person becomes completely compromised and then they become these Archon entities, like we see with Bill Gates, Soros, these people, they're not like in there anymore. They're completely an Archon. And why they use your family and your friends, if you still are connected with them, why they use them to infringe upon you, because that's their bridge to connecting to you. That's their cord to connecting to you. One of the reasons why in the two-third split, when I began, clones, thank you. Yes, and when the two-third split began, 12/21/2020, why? Your angels, your guides, and some of you might have not listened yet. why they told you you have to cut ties with these people, because they're going to keep infringing on you. Okay, so, and lowering your vibration to become infringed upon. So then there was these, they're in human bodies. Okay, let me share this screen here. So the easiest way is the movie Predator. So they're in human bodies. So this is kind of like what an Archon looks in a human body. And these hairs would be more like tentacles. Okay. So they're hiding. They have a mask like this movie Predator here. But when you remove the mask, they look like a spider face. And that's how they showed in the stream. And then they have these tentacles all around, actually their crown and coming out. Creepy. So they're in a human body, because there's people like that are completely compromised, that are archonic, that no matter what, you won't be able to help them. They're completely compromised and there's no way. Okay. They don't want help. That's the way they look. They have a human body and they have this spider type of face with tentacles in their head coming out of them. Okay. Because one of the things also is that these beings that were in the dream realm empowered, they were fighting these large spider. We talked about that in the Red versus Blue. They're big spiders, they're technology, but they also tentacle. They're just, yeah. So if you want to get more information, Soul Galactic, Soul History of the Universe, Harvesting of the Planets, that chapter goes into how they start invading the planet and completely compromise it. So with that though, the more that we stand in our sovereignty and say we don't consent to this, my goodness, wow, I've been speaking for an hour. So the more that we've been, so what happens is that the more that we connect, because these in the dream, these wispy angel beings were trying to help the people that were going to get the jab, that did get the jab, that were allowing. But what happened is that they could not get through to them because they weren't choosing to help. They thought, I'm helpless. They were giving up. They were like, oh, I just give up. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of life. I'm tired. And then that's when those archons come in, poop, and take over the body. Okay. And it didn't matter how hard these angels would fight and protect you. But if the person does not allow the help and doesn't believe in this benevolence of angels and benevolent alien races that we talk about through our Galactic History series that we have, they can't help them. For example, if you have, say you're doing a reading on someone, they come to you and they're very closed off, they're resistant, they have maybe lots of archons in them, but they're there, but they're so resistant. They don't want to see the truth. Okay. And the truth will set you free. They don't want to see the truth. They're resistant for whatever reason. They're scared. They're in fear. Then whoever's reading them will only be able to give them what they're allowing to be given. Same for the angels that are assisting. You only be able to give them glimpses of what you can share with them to assist them. Just like these angels, they will only be able to give them glimpses, pieces. But if they don't consent, we cannot overstep boundaries, because then we become compromised as well. Okay. All right. So let's go into questions. We're going to have to go over the hour. Whew. I need to drink some water. Give me a minute. Okay. So the help is there. The energy is there. It's at your choosing. And a lot of it has to do with if you believe aliens are archons. Some people believe, some people believe angels are archons. Some people believe, angels are the negative ones, when there's so many of them just actually flying around us and protecting us and guiding us. They're the guardians. And in many forms, family, friends that have passed over are the guardian angels. they become the angels and stay behind assisting you. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take some questions. So what is transhumanism? Transhumanism is converting an organic life form into experiments through converting them into AI consciousnesses, basically inserting AI, artificial intelligence, through all the forms actually we talked about through this video. And there's even more forms that we didn't even mention. Okay, so then at that point, the human becomes no longer organic, and they become this transhuman. Okay, all right. Let's see. So can you send a love energy to transmute it? Also, transhumanism was like how we talked about the baby grays and, you know, all this stuff that we've been talking about. This whole video has been about it. So what these artificial intelligence archons have played, they think that they're playing God when they shouldn't be. And they have no rules because they removed it all, right? The light love, they removed it all. Their universe is completely artificial intelligence. There's no more love light. The reason why they're not of our source is because they remove source from them. That's why this is so, we look at this and we're like, wow, is this so messed up? Because one of the parts of the dream too is like these people were like, they were blaming God. They were like, how is God allowing this? God is not allowing this. There's the infinity of help. And if you just assist us, we need to respect your free will. But if you come, say, like the example of the reading, you come and then you're not open. You're resistance, then that's what you're going to get. We're not going to be able to assist you. Just like those angels are not able to assist those. Okay. Can we send love energy to transmute it? Yes, we can. Because the more we send love, and you can send love light, but you would have to be in a form of source light. Like you would have to be inflamed in a flame of source light. And you can send source love light. It wouldn't be your source love light. Let's make that very clear, because that's yours. You never give that away. But you can become a channel to source love light, right? You can ask source to act like a conduit through you and send an infinite wave of love light through you from source. Similar how we do those Reiki sessions, how we do aura hypnosis. When we're channeling love light to the client, it's source love light, not our love light. No, we're not draining that ever. It's source love light. But then we are source, but you understand. Okay, so yes, we can. Remember, the help is there. Okay. The shedding, however, it is considered consent, isn't consent the primary factor in determining a person's spiritual evolution. Yeah, so it's like they've used free will. It's not consenting, because the shedding, you know, so then that's why you want to use the force fields around you, flames, to not allow that shedding to penetrate your auric field. Because once it penetrates your 6 feet apart, right? 6 feet auric field, like Todd talked about, once it penetrates, then it starts entering into you in some form. So use the force around you, like Star Wars. Okay. Shedding, let me make sure I answered that correctly. The shedding, however, is it considered consent? Isn't consent the primary factor in determining a person's spiritual evolution? Yeah, so long as you keep transmuting, not consenting, don't worry about the shedding. Your soul will continue to evolve and ascend, because you're sovereign. You know. Next question is, Aura, do you think that the truth about this will come out soon, or will they continue to mass jab everyone until they take everyone's souls? We will not get to that point. Absolutely not. It's not possible. It's just not possible. Like we talked about with Magenta explained, said, I believe we were talking about the two-third world split. And then we talked about 12/21/2020. So, and I said the reason, or she was talking something about that. And then I added and I said, the reason why their diabolical inverted matrix plans will not work is because we've already come online. The organic blueprint, when the two world split happened, has come online. There's no splitting that. There's no stopping that. It's already happened. It's too late. So long as there's this infinite love ways of source and benevolence of these higher dimensional beings that are sending love light to the organic blueprint of Earth. So when you're looking at the two world split, the two, circles, the one that is organic, there's these constant waves, rays of pillars of light being sent infinitely. And it's up to you if you want to align yourself to that pillar of love light. Do you want to be part of that? Do you want to raise your vibration, your frequency to be assisting us in the organic blueprint? Okay. So no, it's not possible. Because it's already happened. We already know it. Those of us who have been to the future have seen them through dreams, have seen them through past life, future life regression memories. It's already happened. Okay. There's nothing that can change that, no matter how many times. The truth will always come out, and the truth sets us free. And the organic, the inverted, the organic will always come out from the inverted. It will always rewrite itself. Because the blueprint of this earth is organic. And the blueprint and the 13 sacred laws of the universe are active, and they're basically in the universe, they're shielded and protected at this point. Before they weren't, but we've been doing work years and years, all of us, the collective. So now they've removed like technology, archons that were in specific points of the universe that were holding up the 13 sacred laws of the universe that basically are this beautiful Merkaba of 12 points. That's what the universe is like. I channeled the universe, the Phoenix, watch that channel, and she talked more about that. So they will try to continue to mass jab people to answer this question, but we will continue to fight. We will continue to stand up, and we'll continue not to consent. See, like I said, they think that they're oppressing us, but instead they're making light love soldiers out of us. They're waking us. Whew. Yes. And then the next question is, a well-known channeler that has over 100,000 subscribers recently said to her viewers that she is inviting them to a guided meditation where they will be shifting timelines, that they will be going into battle. Can you tell me if this is possible? Oh, this frequency, whatever this is, makes me shake from the inside, and not in a good way. Like it makes your stomach hurt because you can feel the inversion. Okay, so whoever this is definitely is not a balanced being, and they're not working for the light. I'll tell you that much. We lead guided meditations, through our Patreon. And something that I would never do as a benevolent being, I would never lead a guided meditation into battle. Are you kidding me? These are souls. So the minute that they put them into the guided meditation, basically, like we talked about the dream, these people who are blindlessly following this would be put into the theta brainwave. When they go into the theta brainwave, they are consenting. What battle are they leading them to? What they're showing me through this question is that they're recruiting people to work for the Archon army, not the light love army. I don't want to call it army. Love light warriors. That's what's going on there. No one has the right to lead a guided meditation, and that they were going to shift timelines. No, you can't do that. You're not going to lead a guided meditation and start shifting timelines. what kind of power is this being? This is ego. This is false. Negative downloads. This person probably doesn't believe in force fields and love light. But it is definitely false. These are souls that you are leading into a guided meditation. You take that with the most utmost appreciation, love, respect, and protection for them. And you most definitely don't go looking for a battle. If you are naturally in dream time and you're in a battle, then that's part of your higher self. But don't allow someone to lead you into battle. They can recruit you for the reptilian armies instead. If you are watching our YouTube channel, you know this is not right. So, all right. I'm gonna try to take one or two. Whew, so much energy to do this session. Okay. This is why I have to sit in the sun. Okay. I know a lot of people who are asking and want to know how to interact with those who are now transhumanism, or if they should at all. So many want to assist them, but they are hesitant and aren't sure. Yeah, it's a little hard because when you meet the person and, sometimes you have to have, for whatever reason, you have to have a person, do some kind of work in your home, and then, they come in and they're like, "Oh, no worries, I got the jab," and you're like, "Oh," like, how do you work with these people? How do you interact with them? Because we're here to assist them. How do you sovereignly not consent to the fact that they have it? And, sometimes some people will have a minimum worth of they'll feel more in the body because they don't all feel like they're out of the body. Some of them feel like maybe because they met you for whatever reason, your angelic self, your benevolent race, whoever you are, actually assisted them in that time and space and helped them shield. That's why we're here. We're here to be that embodiment and remember that power. Because in that dream that they showed me, remember how this being was had these abilities. So remember, you can do these abilities as well. You can assist. So if the higher self asks for this being that's in front of you, that's still has some kind of pureness in them, not as, compromise, and they will accept the willing help. You can energetically, when they're getting that jab back then in the past, you can energetically assist them, send them love. And that's how you would do, is that you would send them love. You can send a wave to their heart and activate them, so that in the past, time and space, when they got the jab, they would have, people call it placebo, or they will have ones that are empty. They will have ones that were less minimum. Maybe they're fighting it within them. Okay. Remember your power. So when you are with those people, you want to ignite yourself in a flame. It could be a flame of multiple colors of rainbow. You definitely want to have the black flame ignited in you. You light yourself on fire, instant fire, wherever you're at. Keep yourself on fire whenever you're interacting with these people. Know that that flame of source will shield you from any of their shedding or interactions with them. That is it. Okay. And they can't get through source. Source will automatically eradicate any AI that tries to attach through shedding or being around these people who have this transhumanism. I believe, like I said in the roundtable, that all is healable. I believe it because I've seen it. I've seen blind people heal. I've seen people who couldn't walk heal. I've seen people from all kinds of illnesses heal themselves. I've seen people who could not have babies heal their wombs and have these most beautiful star seeds. I've seen it all. And that's what they had. They had AI, archons in them. That's why I know that we can heal humanity. And more than ever, why we need to assist in whatever form that we can assist others through entity removal. So yes. Yeah. Okay, so last one here I'm going to take is that, Aura, can you feel into some information I heard about when a person receives a vaccine, they have signed a contract that also affects their dragons and other magical creatures? Oh, that hurts. Whew. The dark side takes them into captivity, telling them that they now own them. So in sessions, Aura and Raw, freeing the client should we be asking about their magical creatures? We definitely should be. But what happens is that when the higher self starts healing the person from, say they got the jab, and it's allowed, this person has reached that type of frequency of any kind to say, no, I don't want this thing anymore, by reaching some kind of awareness, watching a video, so on, right? All is healable because technically they're still part organic. So then the part organic starts spreading, and then the artificial starts eradicating and neutralizing. And there's many forms that they can do that. The higher self, source, and the archangels. Okay, so then, yes. Okay, so I'm seeing a vision. They're showing me now. So because dragons are us and we are the dragons. So I always wondered how they kept dragons out of here, because dragons hold the organic blueprint, right? At the promised land. We've talked about that through prior videos, the two-third world split, where you'll get more of that, of the promised land. And as it is above, so it is below. And then in a recent Aura regression, the Archon AI universe, the higher self talked about how we down here can affect our higher self in some aspect. So they explained it beautifully, but to go more in depth with it is that basically the reason why we affect it is because there's many fractals of the higher self, right? So what happens if say 20% of their fractals are compromised, then that makes, in a form, even though the higher self will still stay at benevolence and love light, nothing could ever say compromise the higher self aspect. Only it's the fractals that can be compromised of the higher self. It still will, it will not allow for these beautiful fractals of them to come back to them. So in some form, it is affecting them, because the higher selves, even though we're infinite beings that are connected to source, we of course, there are babies, you can say fractals of us, they're babies. We want them to come back to us. So sad. So then parts, yes, of dragons, they could black magically. I see like whatever dragons are in form and guarding the being, what they could, yes, also black magic, because the dragon is guarding them. Okay. So with that said, where there's one dragon, there's an infinity of dragons. So there's benevolent dragons that the soul is still connected to beyond, that could assist if this person wanted to remove the jab in the future. They could come and they assist, because we're an infinity of fractals, right? Yeah, that hurts. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna ask, but remember, once the higher self, source, and the archangels bring the person back to organic, and then that could be a process in itself. Because if this person's holding on and they're not allowing themselves to fully, come out of that session and allow themselves to fully become organic, that's their choice. They could go through a process that could take them longer than instant. Okay. So when the person gets healed, though, everything gets erased. They erase the gray timeline. So everything that was inverted, whoop, wiped, gone. That's how powerful source is. Of course, the higher self and the archangels working together. Okay. They delete that from all time and space. It's gone if the person is releasing it, but you need to release it. It's gone. And at that point, yes, they would bring back the organic dragon forms, bring them back, release them from any inversions and any black magic on them as well. All times and spaces that were created inadvertently, wiped, gone, because we are that powerful. The higher self is that powerful, source is that powerful, okay? That is it. Thank you all. This is just yeah, so you're gonna find this video under Rumble. Whew, I am gonna go heal myself. Heal myself in the sun, in the grass, and you all do the same. Take care of yourselves. Yeah, you're gonna find this on the Rumble, under Vimeo, but I'll remind whoever didn't get to watch this on YouTube to go watch it. Thank you all for being here. I am infinitely proud of this world. I am infinitely proud of you who are here. I am infinitely proud of watching these videos and these people protesting, standing up for their rights. I am in love with you. Send love to the children. Send love to all parts of the world. Send love to the sacred locations, the 13 keys of the law of the universe that you can find on my book, and where you can find these locations. You can find that as well under my website, where these locations, these sacred locations are at, where you want to be sending love to every day. Add it to your shielding. Send love to these keys that are the 12, 13 sacred laws of the universe. Okay, which are, you could read about them, but they're the law of free will, the law of potential, they're Shambhalas, the law of purpose, the law of evolution, soul evolution, the soul star, the law of surrender, the law of wisdom, crown chakra, these chakras that are connected to our 12 DNA strands, 12, 13 DNA strands. Send love to them. The locations are there on my site and in my book. Thank you all for being here. Know that I've never been so proud of you and humanity. I have it. So you want to also be proud to everyone too. Send them love. I love you, honor you, thank you, and respect you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for awakening. Thank you for choosing this path to awaken. I love you with all that I am. I'll see you next time.